Good morning everyone, welcome back, welcome to another weekly outlook. So we are going to start top down analysis as usual. We're going to start off here on the monthly and give a look at what I believe is coming in EU for the week and beyond, right? So here we are on the monthly. Let me go through this just briefly again for those who haven't watched my previous video. We have a bullish dealing range, right? Dealing range is from this low to this high here. Now within this bullish leg here, we were pushing towards this monthly imbalance zone here, right? So we've hit that monthly imbalance zone, which is a bearish PDA or POI, if you call it that. So it's there as resistance. You can see closed out with this nice wick here, taking buy side liquidity from that previous month as well. As I've said here on the right, from a monthly perspective, price could go either way. So we have weak highs above. It's weak because we have this high followed by another high just below it. So price can target these weak highs, which it often does, continuing this bullish pressure, right? So this could be its overall target before we get a pullback. Or from this point here, where we've met that resistance, right? Because this is an order block and imbalance, and we have had quite a good bullish push here without any significant pullback. Price can pull back here towards the discount PDAs as draws on liquidity, rejecting these current bearish PDAs. Okay, so these will be our draws on liquidity, this BPR with this overlapping imbalance, which is in the discount that I have here. So like I said, from a monthly perspective, price could go either way. At the moment, I'm slightly favoring it to push higher, right? Just because the weak highs could be the main target for that pullback. Last 3 months have been bullish as well. So we'll see what goes on there. What I like about this current monthly candle, we've got 10 days left, but we have already retraced quite deeply into the body of this previous month here, right? So we formed that lower wick. So when price is ready, it can then go on to form that bullish candle here, the candle body. So it's already retraced to something and rejected possibly. So we'll see that on the lower time frames. So let's go down to the weekly. Let's see what the weekly looks like. Right, so in terms of this weekly chart here, what I was just discussing with you on the monthly, after we've rejected these highs here, taking this buy side liquidity, gone into this weekly imbalance here as well, and price pulled back. We pulled back further in this first week of February, right, which would have been into the candle of January, like I said, where we formed that lower end of the wick on the monthly, and then we had a small bullish push away from there. So what we find here is a weekly imbalance, overlapped of course by the weekly order block, which we just tipped into here, where I've highlighted it in yellow as well. We already have bullish structure here on the weekly, okay? My weekly perspective is it's bullish because the structure is still bullish. We're respecting those bullish PDAs, so we've respected this order block, had a bullish push, right, creating a new high, pulled back. We have this order block and imbalance zone here, and we are looking to be pushing away from this zone here. Of course, there is the possibility of price coming deeper into this zone here with more overlapping PDAs, but just reading what's currently there in price action, and of course we've been bullish for a while now. I expect the current week to continue expanding towards the buy side liquidity, which is up here, this external buy side liquidity we created at the end of January, preferably after retracing into that previous week candle, right, early in the week. So now we're on Tuesday. After this bullish candle, we've opened up, and the first thing we've done is retrace into the body of this bullish candle here. So same as what I was just explaining on the monthly, we've pushed back into this candle. So on lower time frames, there may be PDAs, POIs, right, to use as support to then push up, aim for previous weekly high, and then that previous monthly high up here, right, eventually. So this candle hasn't put me off yet, right? We are only a couple of days in. Yesterday was a bank holiday as well. So we push back into this candle, and we'll see on the lower time frames the areas of support possibly to go higher. But overall, weekly is still bullish, right? Respecting these PDAs, we have respected this so far. So I could expect price to continue higher. So the weekly has a bullish bias. So just to summarize so far, monthly could go either way, but the weekly, which of course will drive the monthly candle, at the moment is bullish, right? So let's see if the daily and the weekly are aligned. Let's go down to the daily now. So of course the daily looks bullish in terms of we have this bullish dealing range, right? This is the same as the weekly, this dealing range from the low to the high here, which is what you would have seen on that weekly time frame. Price of course pulled back. You can see the pullback here, it looks more dramatic on the daily of course, right, where it's just a weekly bearish candle. We've pulled back to the discount right down here, so this is the weekly overlapping imbalance here and the weekly order block which price spiked into. We had the daily imbalance here overlapping as well, right, nice green zone here. And then what happened when price was in this zone, made a bit of a range, took the sell side liquidity at the bottom of the range and then had a bullish expansion. We did have some traffic in the way there, right? We had this imbalance here and then we have this imbalance here which was kind of rejected and price is now pulling back again. So what's it pulling back to? We have a BPR with these overlapping up imbalances and down imbalances here, right? BPR there, which is a strong area of support. Now this candle here is NFP, so you can see last week didn't hold a lot of momentum from Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday because of that NFP day as well. So price has pulled back down to this BPR. We have the NFP candle just below and we have an order block just below also. So price may be pushing back towards the order block ultimately before we may see any continuation of bullish price action. Now of course what I would want to see from there, because we have stacked up this area here, is price to ultimately do some stuff like this, coming towards this external buy side liquidity, right, on the daily. So the daily is bullish of course, bullish dealing range, bullish bias, agreeing with the weekly, right, we've had this bullish push away. We've come back to our bullish PDAs here. So what do I say here on the right? Daily time frame has a bullish dealing range. Price has so far been held at these bullish PDAs, right? This is this area here, an area of high resistance, right, full of bullish PDAs has been built to push away from. So obviously shorts doesn't look attractive while we're in this zone here. We are yet to see a bullish day form here, but there is potential. We could see it come down further to the order block, potentially taking an NFP low sell side liquidity first, which is just here. We'll see on the lower time frames, and then the order block is just here. So I just made that bold, so we can see this order block just here. Price may want to come down into that, and then we've got these fractal bullish structures here. So that's what I'm seeing. That goes along with the message that I was seeing on the high time frames. Like we said, we have our weekly bullish candle here that formed, and then we're pulling back down into it to look for resistance, right? So it's not a bad thing to pull back down into it first, to retrace into it. We have all of these host of bullish PDAs here. So like I said, I want to see that weekly candle this week, early in the week, Tuesday, Wednesday, coming into these zones here, deeper into that weekly bullish candle body, to then expand, right, so it can leave a nice low wick behind and create that body for this week, possibly aiming for this buy side liquidity high here. So I hope that's clear. Any questions, just let me know in the comments. And of course on the lower time frames, what I want to see is a market maker bimodal fractal up to this zone here, completing this there, right, sell side curve, buy side curve, up to this zone here as our main draw of liquidity for the week, I would say. Okay, so let's go down to the 4 hour. Let's look into this lower time frame price action. Okay, here on the lower time frame on the 4 hour, what I will say about this price action, which you'll see on the lower time frames like the 1 hour M15, is this is so corrective. This is all trend line, low resistance, buy side liquidity being built up here. It doesn't give you confidence for shorts. There's no energy being pushed away from these areas here. We have overlapping with that daily imbalance over here. We had that 4 hour imbalance, right, which was respected. This is where we took that sell side liquidity before making that bullish leg. So of course we switched structure here into a bullish one again on the 4 hour. So we had that bullish dealing range from this low to this high. We pulled back down into what would be the discount of this dealing range here, overlapping with this zone here, right, which we have on the daily, where we have this BPR, we have an inverse fair value gap, where we had this bearish fair value gap was respected once, then it was broken and then used as support so far. So this area here still holds as valid. Okay, so it's an inverted fair value gap now. Overlapping with that, of course, you can see we have our imbalances here as well, right, which we don't need to put on, but we're within this daily imbalance as well. We have these lower time frame inverted fair value gaps here. We have that NFP sell side liquidity just floating below us now, so it does look good for price to come and take out this candle here, right, possibly into this daily order block here, of course, and then we may see bullish order flow. So as we have my notes here, lower time frame structure is bullish, right? When I say structure, I mean this dealing range here from this low to this high. We don't have bullish order flow yet, right? This is our current order flow, this movement here. NFP candle is quite close for a sell side liquidity target, right? Short term draw on liquidity down here to be used first, and that may sponsor a move, a nice strong low to form here, and then we start creating our order flow respecting some sort of, say, imbalance here, keep going up, right? Like I said on the daily, to have our lower time frame market maker buy model form. Okay, so we could continue respecting these bullish PDAs here, and that would be our order flow, right? We may see some divergence around this zone here, which I'll show on the 1 hour or M15 as well. So let's go down to the 1 hour. So the 1 hour I've left a little bit more blank, of course, don't need those big massive daily imbalances. You can see clearly this inverted fair value gap, it's applicable on the 1 hour, so you can see it being tested here to use as resistance, continues through to use as support here. We have the same imbalances and even an order block here on the 1 hour as well. However, this is low resistance. You can see this sort of sell side liquidity trend line sort of lows here, right? No, we don't have any strong lows like we did here where we took out sell side liquidity first, right? So they've left this line here, so we may take that out to come deeper into this daily order block here. But back to the price action we see here, right? You can see price looks like it is gunning for these Asia lows and NFP sell side liquidity, but if we look above, like I said, it's loads of low resistance, trend line of highs here, right? Low resistance buy side liquidity for price to target if we turn into a bullish order flow now. So we have relatively equal highs at the top here, which is also low resistance buy side liquidity, and then we have a load of this to target here. We have our previous daily high as well, which may be a decent draw of liquidity for today, this being the more obvious low resistance draw of liquidity from this whole price action here. Alright, so those are two targets we can use for today if price gives us that move, because I think we have a lot of news this week as well, so hopefully we get to participate and news doesn't take out all of this liquidity without us or completely reverse the trend, right? Again, just to stay on topic, I'm looking for price to possibly take out this NFP low here, which looks like it will then give us some SMC divergence. You can see this NFP candle high here on DXY, and you can see how far away we are here on DXY currently, right? Whereas we're very close here on EU. However, if we come further into the order block, we may see it get taken out. So let's go down to the M15 and let's see what that looks like for today so far. So just zoomed out currently so you can see that clear possible SMC is about to come into the market. We had SMT or SMC here even at the top. EU failed to take out this high, whereas DXY did, and you can see after that, that gave a lot of bearish pressure and bullish pressure here on DXY. So zooming in on price, again you can see all this low resistance sell side liquidity for the taking possibly in the future. Price is going to plan so far. Again, we have clear bearish order flow, right? Price is only heading in one direction at the moment. So what would I want for today? Price to come and take out this sell side liquidity. We've got this pre-London low and we've got the sell side liquidity from NFP. I would like price to come down, which is doing, take out these lows here, and then we're going to want to see bullish order flow enter the market. We're going to want to see a switch in structure here on the M15, so take out this high. It may create some other structures, right, but same thing. Take out a high like this and then possibly come down into a bullish PDA left behind to then continue higher. Following the plan for today, come for that previous daily high, right, which is a good target around this zone here with this low resistance, relatively equal highs, and then eventually, of course, come for that low resistance buy side liquidity here, maybe leaving a runner on here, depending on where we get involved in this price action. Alright, so that's what I would like to see. Price take out these lows here, leave a nice low test candle wick, really nice low candle wick with possibly a bullish body on it, we'll see, but a really good low test candle, and then price to just switch structure, right, breaking the previous market structure high on the M15 if it's this high, and then just coming down, taking out some sell side liquidity again maybe, and continuing to follow bullish order flow. So that's what I would like to see for today, right? Targeting these areas of liquidity here, right, even here as well, all the way up to the low resistance buy side liquidity here possibly today. So we'll see what we're given from the market. Just up to the daily to wrap things up. I hope that was clear. Any questions, let me know. Remember, stay vigilant. There's a lot of news this week, and I'll see you guys next week.